Hello, everybody. This is RPG Cast 818 for the week of July 11th, 2026. I am your host, Kelley Ryan, and with me, as always, my podcast partner in crime, for a different show this time around, Mr. Matt Mason.
Hey, I'm glad we got to do this since we last minute made a swerve on Wednesday for RPG Backtrack. We'll be coming to you with two in a row in the next 2 weeks, but we had some scheduling issues. We needed to get our personas in a line. We hadn't quite leveled up enough.
We had to remember that the original personas existed.
You still say they are. I still haven't heard about them yet, but I will on Wednesday night.
You will. Joining us this Saturday morning, we've got Dalindar, aka Ryan Costa.
I have to remind myself with all this persona talk that if I put a gun to my head, I won't get Jack Frost to get away from the heat.
Yeah.
Yikes, that got dark fast.
Yeah.
It's so hot.
And we've also got Robert A, aka Tam, providing the Twitch duties today.
Yeah, although not as spiffy as Chris's, because I don't have like all his images, but at least we've got the Twitch going this week.
It'll do.
It's fine. Listen, you're even more alliterative with Twitchy talking Tam. We'll find more T-words to add to that later.
Because I realized even though I used to not stream on RPGamer, but just stream in general, I don't think I've downloaded OBS on this newer machine, so I couldn't have done the Twitch hosting this week. I can't remember how that worked.
The joy of my brain sometimes is I just like I was sitting here last night. I was like, oh yeah, I just need to go get the stream key from my conversation with Hairfrog from like 2 years ago that is still sitting in our Discord DMs. So luckily it was very easy for me to do it, but that's because I have the stuff already in the background that I can just snag and piece together when needed.
So we are in the throes of JRPG July, a yearly celebration where most of us RP gamers and listeners pick a JRPG to play through. We do an editorial talking about what games we were playing through. I'm not participating mainly because I had my first year I played something really boring and had a difficult time trying to write about it. So,
I don't know what that's like. Nope.
Yeah.
Nope, not at all.
So I was like, you know what? I should probably duck out or, just be more careful what I pick for these things. But what have we been playing?
Well, I've not been playing any JRPGs. I've been still playing Honkai Star Rail.
Technically, isn't that a JRPG?
No, it's Chinese.
Oh, okay.
Is it a CHRPG? We can't call this CRPG. That's computer one. Do we abbreviate it?
Can't call it ARPG because that's for Asian, because that's action RPG.
No, I was thinking Soviet and was thinking of the CCCP RPG, but that CCCP was Russia. So, whoops, wrong communist country. Darn it.
We don't have a good abbreviation.
We got nothing for you.
No, CN actually.
CN.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
CN RPG.
CNR.
Not to be confused with the Canadian RPGs.
Canadians usually CD, from my understanding.
CDM's usually the 3-letter short form.
Oh, look at these new things I learned.
But at the same time, I was half expecting Tam to say he's using his favorite character with a hammer and sickle, and like that fit communist.
I mean, I do have one with a hammer, and she spins around and smacks people with it.
Does she build a great wall?
No, but she summons ice and smacks it with hammer and smashes the enemies with that. She's also a doll, like an actual doll.
I'm thinking back to Russian nesting dolls. So I got nothing. All right, Tam, tell us about your week of Honkai Star Rail.
I mean, I'm actually so I caught up with all the story over the last couple of weeks. So I'm actually been just doing a bunch of side quests and prepping, trying to get enough of the, because it is a gacha game, gacha material for the upcoming patch that's going to be out in a couple of weeks. So I've been just, grinding out all the side quests and whatnot from not playing it for like 2 years.
Hmm.
So I have it's been quite the journey of side questing and trying to level characters so I can do content.
Has it been hard to get back into the story beats of it since you haven't played it for a bit?
Um, yes and no. The current world, I'm all caught up. So the current world has actually been very easy to follow. The previous world, which I was not actually even had started when I stopped playing. I stopped playing the world before that. So, let's see, one, two. So I was on the third world, which is Penacony, which is the world of dreams, and that one wasn't hard to follow. And then I went to World 4, which is Amorphous, one of the two. And that got like, yeah, no, I was completely confused by that one.
Mm.
It just got real, like it was fine, and then it just went nosedived off the deep end into completely bonkers. Like universe-ending calamity bonkers, and it was just very confusing.
So basically, you
could
were
have
playing a
easily prevented
JRPG
it
in
if
your
you
heart.
remembered hearing.
Sorry, I missed one of what one of you said. What was your comment, Matt?
I said basically you were playing a JRPG in your heart. The world,
Yeah.
the universe was ending.
Yeah.
God forbid the stakes be low.
Oh no! Like the boss is like the final boss of that world has this mechanic that as it attacks, it fills up a gauge, and if the gauge reaches 100%, it's automatic game over. Like there is no ifs, ands, or buts. The game is over. The battle is lost. So yeah, it was just a trip. It was definitely a trip. The current world, which is Planet Arcadia, has been a lot better than Amorphous. It's still, some very out there concepts, but it's a lot more manageable right now. Still world-ending disaster or universe-ending disasters going on, but it's making a lot more sense than the last one. So, and I'm actually really excited for the upcoming patch, because the upcoming patch they're releasing a new version of one of the beginning characters in the game, and we already know that that character is not the character she is, but she is that character. It's a I don't want to go into too many spoilers, but if you've unfortunately all the trailers, of course, kind of give the spoilers because, of course, they expect people to not jump in mid game. But that's really all I've been playing. That and of course Nikkei, which has its summer event with all the swimsuit characters. I haven't sent you these ones, Matt. I'm sorry.
I am not.
No, you're not. They're a couple of them are pretty spicy this year.
That is not surprising.
Yeah,
you say that like it is something new.
True. Although two of them are actually pretty nice. But yeah, no, they're so. But that's been really about it for my for my gaming, was just Honkai Star Rail, because I was running on my other computer. I didn't want to try and run anything because I found out that computer is not cooling correctly. So I didn't want to run my backup into the ground and just constantly overheat it.
Well, speaking of overheating, Dalindar, what were you playing?
Mostly, it's ironically similar enough to Honkai Star Rail in that Grand Blue Fantasy Relink is actually a bit of a continuation of the original Grand Blue Fantasy, which I've never played. So there's moments at the beginning of that game when I jumped into it to play the Endless Ragnarok content that I'm going, okay, you guys have all known each other for an indefinite amount of time. How do you interact with each other? And then luckily they have moments where you get your characters actually power up if you go through their bonding scenes, so to speak. But most of the bonding scenes are just dynamic monologues, as I call them, where it's just the voice actor talking over, and the first couple are like, this is how I met the crew. And then, oh, now let me tell you a story about how I've been with the crew that's more topical to the game you've been playing so far. So, like, okay, you're at least introducing each of the characters, telling me about how they're acting and interacting with each other, and then telling me a story that's going to build upon their established characters. So, like, okay, I can follow. And gameplay is very nice. It's interesting to go from a lot of games where you have a multiple party system. There's usually like you have four characters that you go in. It's an action game, very fast paced. You'd expect that there's just a button to allow you to swap between characters since it lets you play as other characters. That isn't the case here. You basically start your mission with the character you selected and you just keep playing as that character, which kind of surprised me a bit, but I don't find any issue with it. There's a good chunk of characters to play as. They all play a bit differently. It's good to diving through it all. And of course, have a lot of positive things to say about the voice acting in the game. So whenever a story scene comes up, I'm always excited to see how it plays out just for the way that they converse. I don't have too much to say about the new content for those that have played Grand Blue Fantasy Relink already, because Endless Ragnarok, the only thing I really know is I went through the first little bit of the new content, and it's basically a roguelike, or roguelite, because you have your characters at the level that they're at. You jump in and you can get new temporary boosts based off of how far you make it, and then you beat a boss and you just get a bunch of resources. So it's basically resource gathering roguelike. But I haven't been able to tinker into it too much because at the point I am in the game, there's only 4 or 5 floors I'm allowed to go through. So I think a lot of it and the tougher content's going to happen as I get further in.
I played, excuse me, I played that game a while back, and I was surprised at how fun it was.
Yeah. I
I do
say
know
the
that.
same. I'm curious what part about it surprised you? Like, what were you expecting? And you're like, oh, it's like this, to make you go that it was surprising.
I I thought it was gonna be kind of vapid,
Mm.
having very generic pop-up puppet theater cutscenes and just kind of be low budget. But the fact that everything was just seemed so epic when I played it,
Yeah.
um, having just like I think one of the first missions you do is a fight on a ship
Mhm.
versus
That's actually
Bahamut.
the opening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I played
And
the opening, so I remember that.
and I was like, wow, this has a budget to it.
Yes.
Everything is really over the top, and the action combat is pretty fun.
Yeah.
Well, I don't. So I know I usually get Cygames and CyberConnect mixed up, so that's on me. But Cygames has money.
Uh,
Yeah.
Like
well, yeah,
they have a lot of money.
because
Like
I'll never forget when I going to Japan the first time and seeing Grand Blue Fantasy stuff everywhere and being like, what is this gotcha game? And then I don't think it was ever released in English over
it
here.
was recently.
Oh,
Years ago,
recently.
later. Like, we just got it this year, I think.
Okay,
Either this year or very end of last year.
Yeah.
It's very recent.
because this was 2019,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
believe.
Yeah, this is like a 15-year-old gotcha game. It is old. So one of the, but here's Cygames has two other properties you may know of by name, Kelley.
Mm-hmm. Do
Uma
tell?
Musume
Yeah,
and Shadowverse.
that name isn't ringing a bell.
That's one of
Card
the
game.
yeah.
Cygames version of Yu-Gi-Oh, kind of.
Um,
Ah,
At least in tone.
I believe the version you're talking about, that was like not an official translation. It only recently got an official translation. There were like fan translations and like workaround translations, but nothing official until recently.
I see.
Going to Grand Blue Fantasy.
Yeah, I just looked it up on the Play Store or for Android, and I don't see it there. Was it an iPhone exclusive?
No, again, they didn't actually release it in English until recently at all, period.
Huh,
And I think a lot of that just had to do with how well Relinked it.
I see. But yeah, I'm glad you're having a good time with it. It was definitely an underrated hidden gem that just kind of slipped by everyone's radar because of the bigger games that were coming out at the time.
Uh, Definitely. I mean, the sentiment behind it is the same that I've heard from a game like Lost Ark for the Diablo likes out there, in that I thought this was just going to be a regular action RPG as well. And then they made, for my comparison, I haven't played a ton of action RPGs. They had moments that made me go, oh, this kind of reminds me of the cinematic way they did the big budget fights in Final Fantasy 16, which
Hmm.
I'm a big fan of Final Fantasy 16. So when I started playing Grand Blue Fantasy Relink here, and there's a boss fight that I start up, and it just starts shifting and adding in other angles, and now you have to start running away from the enemy, and now you have to charge into it from a different angle, and there's a time limit at this, like just all kinds of things that are like, okay, this is not just you walk into a boss arena and then just start fighting every time
Hmm.
anyway. And I thought that's very, like, I wasn't expecting that, and it's very cool.
From a few people I know, they basically compared it to playing very like Monster Hunter to some extent.
Yeah, I like the gameplay reminds me of it, but a lot of the resource building and like cut off the tail aspect, I think is going to happen post story, because there's a lot of, like, when I go to do quests, it reminds me of the hub for Monster Hunter Rise, but I'm still early enough in that everything I'm doing mostly is story based and not actually digging in to be like, okay, how do I unlock this new weapon and things like that. So I'm expecting it to turn more Monster Hunter as I progress.
Um, Galandar, as a Final Fantasy 16 fan, you will be amused at the cartoon that I posted in the RPG Backtrack channel. It's a long-running series of a YouTube channel doing funny animated recaps of Final Fantasy games, and they came out with a 16 one recently that was an hour long.
Is it a
Uh,
good sign or a bad sign that it's 10 times the length of some of their other ones then?
I think it's a good sign because I watched the whole hour and some of the running jokes were on par.
Oh,
Um,
is this the ones that make the sort of paper-esque models?
so something like that, yeah.
Yeah, where they're like 2D flat.
They're 2D flat and they're
Okay.
kind of noodly.
Yeah, yeah.
I'll spoil the best running gag in that one. They depicted Jill as a cardboard cutout the whole game.
That is accurate, but still makes me sad.
Yes. Oh, that one was really funny though.
Every once in a while in my mind, and I know it's wrong, my brain thinks that Jill's actually just Torgal morphed into a woman.
Yeah.
Like, nope, they were
Oh,
two different characters. They just both didn't really say anything.
oh, and the other best joke, one of the other best jokes at the beginning was, "Let's recap Game of Thrones. I mean Final Fantasy 16."
Uh,
Yeah. Sorry,
I
didn't mean to derail, but I thought of that cartoon, and as soon as you said
no, I
that,
mean there Yoshi P came out and specifically said that he had the writing staff watch Game of Thrones for it.
I mean, it was really popular at one point.
Probably around the point where that development began.
Yeah.
You gotta think the
Then you
thing probably
spend 5 years
started
working on
70 years
a game.
ago. Yeah.
But was that all you wanted to say about Grand Blue?
Pretty much. Anything else I could say would be more spoilery, and I'm not far enough to accidentally get spoiled by stuff as well. So it's just been a lot of fun, and like we all said, kind of snuck past originally, and like it's always been on the back of my mind. So glad I'm trying it out here.
Well, I'm glad somebody else played it and is having fun with it.
Well, I so as I said, I started it, and I got through the very introductory, with the airship battle, and I was like, this would make a really good stream game. And then Scar said he wanted to do it, so I was like, okay, I'll hold. I won't stream it. And then something else came along, and I dropped it
Yeah.
because I was going to stream it, and then Scar beat me to it because he was at a good time to switch games, and then he dropped it for something else, but he went back to it. He did go back to it and streamed it on our channel. So yeah, So that's why I didn't actually continue further with it.
All righty. Well, mine's going to go a little bit quicker here. You mentioned JRPG July, Kel, and
Hmm.
this is the first year that I decided to write for it. I've always seen it, and what the heck, I'm always playing JRPG or two. So I was like, oh, I'll put my name in and do it. We
Huzzah!
have in August, we have a Final Fantasy Pixel Remaster backtrack coming up. So thought I'd do a little homework for that. I've had the Pixel Remasters forever, never played them. And I'm like, you know what? The only one I don't think I've ever played in a pixel format was Final Fantasy 3. Played the DS release back in the day, enjoyed that, and was like, oh, I'll play Final Fantasy 3. Oh my goodness. Talk about a slog that I don't want to write through. I mean, I'm going point to point. It's not horrible, but it's definitely not catching my attention.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, it's a game. It's an NES Final Fantasy game that they decided Americans didn't really want, so they didn't give us. And okay, good call. But I mean, it's fine. It's just I don't necessarily go back a lot and play all the older games. It is and this is you know this is old. Sure, it's pixel remaster, but it's your original game. I think the only thing I'm kind of noticing, I was like, wait a minute, why is there not a speed up button for battles? What the heck? Like, how is that not a thing on these pixel remasters? We think to give you 2 to 4 times your gold and all that stuff, but we can't speed up the battle 2 to 4 times as fast. So
It only speeds up if you put it to auto battle.
yeah, I've been doing that and then turning
Okay.
it off, but it's kind of like a game that I'm playing right now for a review that I can talk about in a week or two. It's the same kind of thing. Like, come on, can we speed through this? Like, this is the boring part. Go faster, go faster. But I think I'm to the fourth crystal, something like that. I just unlocked a bunch of jobs that there is absolutely no equipment for, and have been told by a bunch of people, yeah, you got to wait a few more towns for all those jobs to actually be worth switching to right now. So I was like, oh, okay. I'll wait that. I need to put a couple more hours into that this weekend because even though that game's pretty short, I've been, putting in about my 3 hours a week. I'm like, this is my contractual obligation. I'll do this. What I spent most of my time doing for the past month was playing Monster Train 2, though. Have really loved that game. I enjoyed the first Monster Train last summer, right about when the second one came out. So, I'm the generation behind here. Waited for the first DLC to come out for Monster Train 2 and then jumped on it on a sale in May. And golly, I put 30 or 40 hours into it. While we were driving around the Southwest United States and at my parents' place for a week for vacation. That just was I can play this for 30 minutes, do a run, 45 minutes, do a run, and totally found the broken build and just can't get away from that. These games go forever, and gosh, the real ending is once you beat it 10 times it's not even in a row. You beat it, and then you can add like a level of difficulty. And once you beat the level 10 difficulty, you get the real boss. That is my Monster Train 1 experience. Was I leveled I think there were 6 races with the DLC. I leveled all 6 races up to maximum level. And I'm like, and I beat the game with all 6 of them at one point. Did a successful run, should I say. That was mine. Okay, I won because I am not good enough at these tech builders to make the insane combos and the defense, all this stuff. I enjoy them, but I'm not smart enough to do that level 10 run. But I am happy I found a kind of broken build that has allowed me to do like a level 1 or 2 run so I can get a little bit more bonuses and get my experience up for all the races. But Monster Train 2 has 6 new races, 5 or 6. And then at one point, when you get far enough into the game, you unlock all the races from the first game. So I can't recall if I have 12 or 14 races that I'm trying to level up. I got a few of them to level 8 or 9 right now, one at level 10. But it's slowly going through. This will be the game I kind of play off and on whenever I'm bored. But and then I have a demo impression we'll talk about later.
Ooh.
With Monster Train, one of the questions I wanted to ask is, since you've played the second one now, is it one of those games where there's just no point really playing Monster Train? Like if you'd played 2 first, would you have gone back and played 1?
No,
Knowing what
there's no point. Yeah. I don't know. The story is, oh, it was the first story. Oh, heaven's being invaded by hell. Let's make infinite number of runs into there and try to stop them. And then the second game is, oh, some titans came and attacked heaven and hell, so let's team up heaven and hell. Like, whatever. You're not playing a roguelike deck builder for the deep story. And
It
the
was
fact
mostly
that,
the gameplay. I was thinking.
yeah, it's the gameplay. It's all, which I really enjoy. And the second one has, like I said, once you're 8-10 hours into it, have opened a couple things. You can get all the races from the first game. There really is no point to go back to the first game.
Yeah.
Like, you could have 100 hours of fun with this one, and if you then had the first one, it'd be like, oh, well, this is just the same thing, maybe with a few different cards. Yeah.
Going back to Final Fantasy 3, did you ever play the 3D version of that?
Yeah, I played the DS version.
Okay.
I think it was through Game FAQs that I managed to find people to trade, because you had to trade mail 3 different times with 3 different people to get the Onion Knight class or whatever. That is one of the few times. I think that was even before I was on forums and had groups of internet friends. Nowadays, it'd be like, oh, I'm sure I know 3 people between a couple different Discord servers that are doing this. But nope,
unfortunately, you
I
can't
sent the
do
mail.
it anymore because they've discontinued the 3DS service. So
Yeah, and the PSP and PC remakes just put that out, or
Yeah.
dummied that out and just made it available.
So yeah, I played that one and I really liked it. It was fun. DS and 3DS were my jam for a decade and a half. So no, I enjoyed it on that. And that's the reason why I picked this one to go to. I'm like, I'm sure I could do a lot if I bear down, but you're going to be playing through one of my homework games as well, I see on our list. So I've got lots of backtrack homework for the second half of the year here. So I limited myself to the one game I have not played in pixel format, and that was 3. So
I see. I really enjoyed the PSP version of that particular remake, actually.
was that based on the DS version?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. It just fixed some of that online stuff and smoothed out the graphics a little bit, and overall, it just played a lot better.
No, there was room for improvement, so
Mhm.
I'm glad that it did. Yeah, I could see that being a highlight. It was for me.
Yep. So talking about what I've played through, I'd finished up Adventures of Elliot last weekend, and thus far, that's gonna be my story of the year. Even though I kind of am mildly annoyed that it kind of backloaded all of the really good story after you roll credits for the first time. Because it kind of directs you towards the end and you roll credits with a terrible ending, and they're like, maybe you could try something different. And after you do that and you start finding out a lot of the stuff that's going on in the world, it's like, okay, the story's been kind of dull up till this point, and now it's really picked up. I don't know why they did it like this. I don't know. Maybe I'm just being picky, or maybe I don't know.
Oh, you know what? I just thought of something. I'm going to check our because since it's related to Elliot here. Do we have a news story on it? No. So I just saw something about them going to doing another patch for it,
hmm
where they
Oh, the patch already released. Yeah,
no,
the
a new
1.1
another
They're
one.
doing a second one.
They're doing
Oh
the
my
second
goodness.
one, where
Oh.
you can turn down the options for voices further.
Yeah, that would
No,
have
no,
been
no, no, no.
That
That came out.
No,
You can turn it
further.
off.
No,
No, you can
further.
turn it off.
Oh.
Yes, further is off.
Oh,
Yes, further off. Yes.
Oh, I didn't know it already
Yeah.
came out. I thought it was still coming out. My bad.
Yeah.
No,
Or maybe it is coming out, but it is off. It's not further, it's off.
Yeah.
Because it's still because you can reduce it, but it's still pretty annoying every single time you open the map. Where are we? Like,
So-
thank you, Faye. I
better
don't
or
need-
worse than Silent Hope when it released.
Pretty on par.
All right, that's what I figured.
Yeah. Though Silent Hope patched that immediately to be able to turn that out, reduce that. This one, it seemed like people really were annoyed by the voices.
I thought I like the character voices. I think are fine. It's just again the stupid fairy.
that has to comment on everything you see and do. Makes Navi seem downright reasonable. But other than that particular aspect, I really enjoyed the game, and I really appreciate it when a game kind of feeds you enough clues that you can figure out a major story twist kind of way before the characters in the game do, but it's not so telegraphed that it seems stupid that it's obvious, if that makes any sense. Because there was some stuff going on, and I was like, wait a minute. I think this is gonna happen like this, and then when it happened like that, I was like, I love it when a game does that. And also there's a story reason why you're collecting cats, and that's all I can say. Very good game. Highly recommend it. Had a lot of fun with it. And I was trying to get through that before July started because I wanted.
You wanted hello?
Hello?
Yeah, you
You're
kind of
back.
cut out. You said I wanted, and then just nothing.
Okay, I think I was having internet problems. So I wanted to finish Adventures of Elliot by the time July started so that I could start my RPG Backtrack homework slash JRPG July Trails Through Daybreak because we're doing Kiseki Christmas this year.
Yes, we are. That's going to be
Uh,
my Kaseki rest of the year.
I
Yeah.
I have had it in my pile for I don't even remember. Well, it's obvious. I've had it in my pile. I finally started it. And gosh, I wish all RPGs would adopt this game's battle system. The fact that you can, if it's weak enemies, you can just kind of smack them down right there on the field, or you can go into the fight itself, and it's the standard Kiseki battle system with crafts and using orbits for spells and all of that fun stuff. It's just been a blast to play through, and I've appreciated the story thus far, and that I love the main character Van. In particular, the fact that he's in love with his truck, and he meets a Jaeger later on that threw his truck at a monster, and he got really pissed about it.
Like throwing a train?
Yeah,
Cool.
yeah, picked up Van's poor truck and just yeeted it at a monster. And Van hates this, yeah, has a grudge against this Jaeger because of it.
So
Was the
so
Jaeger called Larry the Cable Guy?
No.
I mean it could have been you know there's always something to remind him of his Jeep.
hmm
I forget who sang that one, but
So
Um,
I've been having fun playing with that. And then you ever buy a game just because the cover intrigues you?
yes.
Um, I saw on Amazon a pre-order for a two-pack of games called Strange Horticulture and Strange Antiquities. And if you look up the covers of this two-pack for the Switch, you'll see exactly why these games piqued my interest.
They had cats on them.
Yeah,
Okay.
but they,
We know you well, Kelly.
yeah,
I'd say good
yeah.
job, Tam, but that was a kind of
Yeah.
low hanging
It's
fruit.
pretty.
Yep.
But it's like I can't remember if we covered these games or not. If they're not really RPGs, but they're definitely more Adventure Corner adjacent.
yeah,
They're games where in Strange Horticulture you're identifying plants, and in Strange Antiquities you're identifying objects. And it's part of an overarching story. And I played through and finished Strange Horticulture this week. And the gameplay loop is that you ring the bell and you have a customer, and they give you a description of a plant, and you have a book, and you look in the book and you kind of read the very scientific description of the plant, and you try to figure out which plants you have, and you give the person the plant that they want. And then later on, you'll get letters or clues to go figure out different stuff on a map to find new plants to help progress the story. And there's a couple of branching story points where, like this guy comes up and is kind of being bitchy with you, and he asks for a plant to like help with his eyesight or something. And you can choose to either give him the plant he wants or give him a plant that's going to make him sick. And this kind of adds a story point where, like, later on, if you give him the plant that makes him sick, he'll come back and he'll threaten to report you. And from that point, you could give him a plant that would poison him and make him die, and then you'll get arrested and it's a game over. It's that kind of story loop. And there's a story in there about a cult that's going on in this town that's trying to raise an elder god, and you have different branching options as to whether or not you're going to help the cult raise the elder god or help some people try to stop the elder god. And what I was appreciating about this game, particularly with the map clues, was me figuring out the clues made me feel so smart, and overthinking them made me feel so dumb.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry for laughing at that one, Kelley.
No, I mean, you've all played puzzle games or adventure games where you felt like that, I'm sure.
I
And
Yeah.
overthink opening doors in RPGs, thinking like, no, no, this is where they want me to go. Maybe I go back. Like, no, I overthink too much. That puzzle games are not good.
yeah, this is one part puzzle game, one part adventure game, um, kind of thing. You're really just looking at the one screen the whole time, and you have a map that you can look at, and you have your book that you can look at, and you have all of your plants up on the top that you can go through. And then its sequel, Strange Antiquities, kind of takes that gameplay loop and further adds to it. Where and I only just started this one last night, where you have people asking for like different objects, and not only do you have a book that kind of describes the objects, but some of the descriptions can be pretty vague. So you've got to kind of got to take what they say and go to the index and figure out, okay, well, they mentioned the moon. Let's see what entries are about a moon. Oh, okay, I need to look for a thing that's made of wood with a crescent motif and relates somewhere to the night. And the game kind of fools you because you have several objects in your inventory with a crescent. So you can end up, like, well, is it this one? Well, is it this one? Well, no. Because if you're wrong, and if you get wrong too many times, your character's mind breaks, and you've got to solve a puzzle to basically unbreak their mind, and then you've got to start the whole thing over again. So you've really kind of got to read through your clues that you have at your disposal. And the Strange Antiquities ones even has like an enhanced viewing window where you like, okay, I can touch the object. It feels smooth or it feels rough. I see what it's made out of. Does it make any sounds? And you've really got to pay attention to all of those clues to figure out what you've got to give to the person. And in addition to that, in Strange Antiquities, there's like several locked cabinets that you don't have access to yet that I feel like eventually you're going to have to puzzle out how to open said cabinets. Strange Horticulture had a puzzle like that too, where like from the very beginning of the game there were these symbols on your desk, and you really didn't notice them until you got this magnifying glass that could see hidden messages, and all of a sudden these symbols have been there the whole time, and you're like, I didn't notice it, and you open them up and there's a hidden drawer in your desk that's been there the whole time. And it's just really neat puzzle stuff. And I'm glad I picked up. I'm glad that the cats intrigued me to pick up this game or this pair of games because they've been really interesting to play through, and have been kind of a nice bedtime game to just play through a quiet, casual adventure game with a lot of reading at night and to just kind of wind down before bedtime.
And a few cats.
Yeah. Yeah, both games have cats that are in your shop at all times, and you can pet them.
Looking at this,
Horticulture has a little black cat named Hellbore, and Antiquities has a little tabby cat with different colored eyes named Jupiter.
looking at the Steams for the product, I'm intrigued by detective mystery. I'm scared about the puzzle because detective games typically, like, you picked up the point and click type adventure stuff, I would be fine with. It's puzzles where like you'd find them in a survival horror game where it's like you need to learn this 16-part piece to a piano or something just to get the piece to unlock the clock to get to like, no, no, no. Those are the puzzles where I end up getting stuck forever and end up sitting in front of a statue going, okay, I know something important's going to happen one day here. And I just get stuck. But detective games, they want you to look at all of the aspects, make sure you pay attention to everything you've learned so far. And if these strange antiquities games follow that, I could see it being very interesting to someone like me who typically doesn't puzzle much.
Yeah, and the puzzles are pretty simple.
Okay.
Particularly the map puzzles. You kind of look at them and you realize, oh, they want you to go south two squares and east one square. That's about the complexity of said puzzles.
Okay.
I think I only had to look up a couple of them just because I was overthinking them. And it's also really easy, particularly towards the end, to when you're trying to go for the different endings to load up a save file and do things differently to see the different outcomes. Because it all depends on giving certain characters certain plants that will enhance them or weaken them for the final sequence.
Mhm.
Because my first time through the game, I pretty much played it straight and just kind of let my consequences happen where they happen. And then I wanted to see kind of the different outcomes. So I loaded a save file, and it's like, okay, instead of giving this person the plant that will strengthen them, I will give them the plant to weaken them so that when they summon this monster, they won't be able to control it, or
Mm.
just stuff like that.
Mm.
There's a pretty extensive guide I used on IGN that went into all of the different different ending paths and what you could do to trigger said ending paths. So,
Interesting.
but I enjoyed that pair of games quite a bit. Like I said, I only started Antiquities last night, and I'm curious what the different puzzles, particularly to open the stuff in the shop, will entail. So I think you would like that game, Dalindar, or both games.
Interesting. They have been wishlisted
Yeah.
as, in a way, even though it is like there's puzzles behind it all, it almost feels more like a visual novel with the way
Mm,
you're describing it and
hmm
how it like each piece adds more to it. And I'm definitely becoming a bigger fan of visual novels each time I pick a new one up to play. So,
hmm And I like visual novels like this a little bit more than just the kind of glorified choose your own adventure style.
mm,
Because these kind of games kind of let me solve puzzles and kind of use my brain to identify things and think about it. Versus just like I think about Disgaea Infinite as an example, where that game was pretty much just okay, go to this branching path and choose a different option, and there's your story
mm,
stuff. So I know I've sold you. I don't know if I've sold anybody else.
I mean, not really my style game. So,
Yeah.
but
Uh,
is that pretty much everybody's games this week?
yep, that's pretty
That's
much it.
it.
All right, so
Um,
we did have feedback. Let me pull up the right browser. So we asked on the last episode of RPG Cast, how do you feel about $80 games? We actually got a decent amount of replies. So Strawberry Eggs wrote in saying, I don't like that price to be sure, but it's clearly not enough to dissuade me from a game I really want, since I pre-ordered Fire Emblem Fortune's Weave. Here's hoping Pokemon Winds and Waves won't be that much. Doubtful.
it'll be 160 because you got to buy both of them.
and we have another sticking point to contend with this week, but we'll get to that in the news.
Yeah, we'll get to that in news. Actually, there's more onto that news than just that news. So Tracer3 wrote in saying, I'm not a fan of $80 game price. I'll accept it because I want to own my favorite games physically on day one. As for the games I have less interest in, I can wait until they're on sale. I'm definitely part of the problem. Shaman wrote in saying, since $80 games for the cast were on 100 to 120 for me after exchange rates, didn't deal with them then not dealing with them today. For digital purchases, I at least use Costco membership discounts to get store credit 10% off. And for physical, I wait for sales. And then Platy actually put it just before the cast started here. Games should be $80.
Here, I'll read my own.
Oh, okay.
I'm here. All right. You know what? I'm going to take the opposite stance of all of them and be like, you know what? Games should be $80. They should be more, actually. I remember 1990, I'm buying my own Nintendo, Super Nintendo games. They were $60. With inflation, that's $153 today. So, everybody's always bitching about game companies cutting jobs and games getting more expensive. You know what? Of course, the game companies are going to have to fire thousands of employees. And of course, they're going to cut content and throw it back in there to get DLC to get more money. Because you know what? Three things cannot be true at one time. You can't have cheap games. You cannot have people making living wages, lots of people making living wages, and you cannot have the investors keep the company profitable. Like two of those, maybe you can have one, maybe you can have two. You cannot have all three of those at the same time. So things are going to have to change. Mentality is going to have to change, or, the companies already are changing, which we've seen in the past couple of weeks. I paid $95 for the last Dragon Quest Monster game and all the DLC a few months ago, or not a few months ago, 3 years ago. That was basically, and all the DLC was basically stuff that the 3DS versions used to have back when you could buy a 3DS game for $40. It is what it is, but I mean, I don't want to spend that money. And much like Shaman, I'm buying my Nintendo gift cards at Costco. I'll pick up a bunch on Black Friday because then they're $85 for a $100 credit. And then I'll still wait for games to go on sale. So that's what I'm doing. Yes, I'm always waiting for sales. I don't buy day one. So except for Dragon Quest, basically. And it just is what it is. I mean, even I'm trying to think, I spent $60 for Dragon Quest 8. And I bought the $20 strategy guide, and that came out in like 2004, 2005. My salary is triple what it was back then. Do I want to pay triple for a game? No, I'm not going to pay $240 for a game like that. It'll be a sale, but it's the way the world is, man. Eggs went up to $8 a dozen last year. Gas is up $1. Like these things can't exist. You can bitch and whine all you want, but it is the way it is, and prices are going to be that way. Wait for a sale. It's all right. Play indie games. Dalendar, all the games on your list are not $60, $80 wish list ones, are they?
And the ones I do put on there, I'm not buying at that price. I'm definitely the person that I'm buying games. I have a price point I put in mind. There's some of them that sure I'm willing to pay a full price for, but they could raise the price $50 from, like if it was 80, 130, 140, some of those games I'll buy it day one because that's just how I feel about that particular game. Other ones where I'm like, oh, this seems interesting. I kind of also have to realize I own 1,500 games on Steam alone, and almost all of them are RPGs. I could never buy a game again and still not beat everything I own and everything I want to play.
It always amazes me that I own about 1/100th the number that you do.
Yeah. And you combine that kind of thought process with things like, usually when I hear this conversation come up, they'll be like, oh, I buy a game for $80. That's like a week's worth of groceries. And I think where I am, like, okay, 80 to the conversion rate, that's like 120. I spend $60 a week on groceries. So I'm basically doing 2 weeks worth of groceries for one video game. Like, that doesn't seem like a computation. Like, I'm one of the people where I kind of understand consoles going up in price. Being like, okay, if I spend, 600, 700 on a Switch 2, and then buy all the games for it, they'll eventually pay for itself after 2-3 years of all the $20 purchases I do.
Okay. Well, the cost of the consoles going up that's a different issue.
Yeah, but so just in general, costs go up, things are going to go up. It sucks. Things used to go down, they don't anymore. Thanks AI. Oh well.
Well, thanks AI. Thanks. I mean, we just you know what? Let's get to the
let's get to the news.
Because our very first one is the one that's sort of compounding all this, and it has a lot of different factors.
Because this next one is...
beep. We got to beep you. Got to beep you.
Beep, 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 beep. We should start like a 5-minute timer on this, because I think everybody's been reading this for the past 2 weeks, and we don't need a 20-minute discussion on this, I don't think.
Well, it's just, waiting for a sale is all fine and dandy. And then Sony throws the monkey wrench in the whole thing that they're going to be discontinuing the production of physical discs by 2028, which means it's either going to be codes and boxes or you're just getting your Sony games from the store and that's it. And at that point, especially for first party stuff, Sony is controlling the pricing.
Okay. So there's there's a couple of things that I've heard on this whole thing. First of all, a former exec who left Sony just before this was announced has come out and said, oh no, they were planning to do this years ago because of the fact they didn't want to lose the money. They literally, an exec who has since quit, and I can even get his name if you want it, came out and literally said this, where it's like, yeah, they wanted to discontinue discs years ago so they didn't have to pay retailers and they didn't have to pay, lose out on money. So I have a feeling it's not even being codes and boxes. It's going to be direct digital sales through their storefront only based on that wording. Number two, there was something else I had on that. Anyways, I forgot it off the top of my head, so I'm just going to move on to the fact that it's bad when like Domino's and KFC are mocking you.
Yeah.
That's just marketing. It's not bad. That's what marketing does.
What's been amusing is that people have been complaining about on every single piece of social media that Sony has posted to, and Sony has been radio silent the whole time.
Oh no, they're back.
Oh, they came back.
Yeah, they're doubling down. They stayed away for 6 days.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're doubling down, and they're also I heard that at San Diego Comic Con they have 3 conferences lined up, unrelated to this, but it is going to come up. Oh, I remembered the other thing. So one of the other things that has come out about this is they were counting digital sales of everything. So that means not just like, because they were like, 80%, 80 or 85% of
I was going to say, you're jumping right into an argument without any context here.
Yeah, so they were saying, so they came out and said like 85% or something of gamers buy their stuff digitally. Well, they are counting everything. So games that only release digitally versus physical and digital. DLC, microtransactions, they are counting it all as digital purchases for a game and not separately.
So what's your anger here?
My issue is limits
the issue is
accessibility.
that math doesn't work. So if you actually take just the game, like some of the games where it's both physical and digital, the physical is outselling the digital, but they're getting the 85% digital purchases on anything that is digital. And again,
so basically, okay, so what you're saying is you're upset with their marketing numbers.
No, I'm
that's
saying
what you're upset with.
They're fudging their numbers. I mean, that's just flat out.
No, that those numbers are. It is true. 85% of purchases are digital. What you're upset about is they're not looking at it a certain way. That's marketing. That's advertising. You always say something like that. Like I get it. You could be upset with it, but that's just marketing. You always fudge numbers to tell you what you want. How many times do I watch a sports game and they're like, this is the first guy who's ever thrown 3 touchdowns with his left hand on a Saturday in the state of Kansas City, after his 23rd birthday. I don't know. It's not surprising. It's not something new.
It's not surprising.
I hear literally every single broadcast of every game, every marketing number. Like, no, they're not going to be honest. They're not going to open their books and tell you that stuff. It's a weird little pedantic thing to be upset about. Like, they're going to do this. You found out they were going to do this. It is the way it is.
They've been wanting to do it for years.
I just don't think it's 100% honest to count stuff that you literally can't get anywhere else into the numbers.
Oh, that's again, it's marketing.
I know.
They're proving what's going to happen in the future.
Yeah, they're like, look, now it will be 85%.
Yeah,
we're willing to take the 15% cut that you're saying are being from these fudge numbers. We're still going to make hundreds upon millions of dollars. Our shareholders know that now. And they're okay with the 20 to 40% drop of all the physical. From a the financial standpoint, it makes sense. Like from a personal standpoint, any physical game that's like, well, it's on sale for $30. At the same time, the game's on sale for $30. It's also digitally for 15. So I
Mhm.
still end
Well,
up most of the time saving money from digital. I'm
but
more
the,
worried about the preservation of games aspect of it. That's all.
I'm worried about the preservation and I'm worried about the accessibility because, well, one, you've got people like my family that aren't very tech savvy that don't understand the digital marketplace. They just don't. I have to explain it to them every year around Christmas time, and it's annoying and it's frustrating, and it is just 100 times easier to just buy my intellectually disabled nephew a disc, and it's like, here you go. So that I don't have to go to find his login, go to the store, and put in the code for him. The other issue is, we've got our lovely Sam Wachter on staff, who is a librarian who curates the games for her library. And a lot of people are going to be locked out of being able to borrow games from the library.
well, to add on to this, especially let's talk just first, because the main thing this is going to affect is first party Sony games. First, they've already said they are no longer going to be selling their single player games on other storefronts. They're going to be Sony exclusives. So they're only going to be on Sony. We're basically having another situation with like Nintendo where they're going to only be available on the PSN network, which means the sales are going to be either non-existent or minimal at best for those games. Number two is actually they're not the only company that announced this week, because Microsoft also announced it this week too.
Microsoft has had their own problems this week.
Oh, they've had other problems this week, but they also announced that they will also be discontinuing their physical as well.
And notice how no one seemed to complain about that, mostly because everyone already has the PC they were playing Xbox games on anyway.
Yeah, because it's available on everything from Xbox is available on multiple storefronts.
I mean, I just see it as everybody's got a smartphone. If you are somebody who's listening to this podcast, I would say 99% positive you have a cell phone. You've bought an app on a cell phone. You know what it is to buy a digital purchase. I understand there's going to be people that it does suck for. And I'm not disagreeing with it. It's sucky, but this is just the way the world is. It's like the internet came out and suddenly Encyclopedia Britannica can't print encyclopedias anymore because you got Wikipedia. Computer came out, bye typewriter. It's bemoaning, yes, but this is the way it is.
I just feel like they're throwing the baby out with the bathwater here, trying to maximize profit, trying to eliminating a whole other profit area to maximize profit on the other end. And
Such is capitalism.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think it's very consumer unfriendly, and I think it's shitty.
Yeah.
There's no way about it. I think
No, there's no
terrible.
other way to describe that, really. It's profitable for them and shitty for a lot of everybody else.
And
They
and
kept it.
I'm curious how it's going to work out for them because I'm probably going to be Team Nintendo going forward. All of a
Until
sudden,
Nintendo does it.
all of a sudden, key cards don't seem that bad.
Yeah, Nintendo took the baby step. They're like, look, we're gonna tiptoe, and Sony and Microsoft put on their big boy boots and took a big stomp instead.
Yeah.
If they keep
And
their gaming,
and the key card thing has not been going well, but they have been finding that key card sales are games that are on key cards don't sell.
No surprise, people actually want their games. And the sticking point that we forgot to mention with this is that Sony rolled this out after after a license was terminated with movies that made 500 movies unpurchasable on their site, and if you already purchased them, you can't re-download them.
You even lost them if you did have them downloaded.
Okay, I wasn't
Yep.
sure about that because
Yeah, they are completely gone because of and it wasn't even Sony's license. They licensed them from someone else.
Mhm.
No, this was UK only.
Yeah, in the
I thought
UK
this
only.
was in the US.
No, it was UK only.
No, it was UK only. I mean, I know there's a lot of headlines and everything. Cam, I'm trying to find any sort of like thing that key card sales are not going well. Because everything I find is they're fine. I mean, I know our circle, we're a lot different than when I talk to the general kids at school that are just buying games and stuff. Like, that is completely different than our circle and our people on Discord. And I can't really find the Switch 2 game key cards are selling worse than other stuff.
One of the other sticking points for me, and call me potentially ignorant on this aspect, but if they get around the issue of game preservation, what's the difference between this and suddenly everyone going, it's fine, PC games don't have physical? Steam has definitely not worked out, right?
And see, Dalindar, I'm the same way. Like, I've been buying digital for 5 years only on most of my platforms. Game preservation, any game over like 10 years old, I'm pretty much emulating it anyway. Like, it's on a device that I have hacked. My Vita can play every game from 2005 before to the beginning of history. Like, I get it. I get it. People want their stuff, but like, it's there. Not what other than mobile games.
Yeah.
What's disappeared? What cannot be played? A handful.
So the difference with like Steam and GOG. Well, GOG is DRM free, so you can move it from computer to computer. Steam, once you purchase it, even if it's been, for the most part, there are a handful of games where it's completely gone because of other issues. Like, I have The Last Remnant on PC, which has been discontinued for like 12 plus years, because I bought it from Steam just before got taken off of Steam. And so, but I can still download it. So Steam for the once, but unlike Nintendo, unlike Sony, once they shut down their storefronts, you're not going to be able to access those games again or for any of their new things until they port them to their new system. And you're going to have to buy them again. So the PC market is different, where once you buy it, you don't have to, if you change, like, I've changed computers 4 or 5 times since I started Steam account, and I can just re-download my games without buying a new computer or buying the game again. Sorry.
And the thing about Steam is that they're the top dog at the moment. And I think we can all agree that Steam is not going to go down anytime in the not even in the distant future, unless just they pull a Twitter and just completely gut themselves. But think about all the other storefronts like Uplay and whatever the EA one was. Heck, Square tried to do one and that backfired.
Owlcat tried to do one. It lasted 19 hours.
And ultimately, all of this sounds like a Sony issue, not a consumer issue. If Sony makes PlayStation 6 digital only, things can only be purchased on here. Everyone's going to come to play Marvel's Wolverine 2, and then no one buys Wolverine 2, and they just wasted all their money on a console. That's Sony going under. It's not going to affect PlayStation 5.
Well, it's going to affect Sony PlayStation. I mean, it'll affect Sony as a bigger company, but Sony has their hands in a lot of pockets,
exactly,
or a lot of pies. Mm-hmm. So it's not going to affect Sony as a whole, but it definitely affect their gaming division.
I was going to go on another one that, like, I get it, but I like pizza. I like certain pizzas. I cannot still have the pizza that I had when I was young because that place shut down. It is what it is. I mean, in most of these video games that we buy are in that $20-$30 range, which is the price of a extra large specialty pizza. That, like, I know game preservation should be a thing, but again, there are so many experiences in life that you can't have forever. You pay to go to Disney, you're there once. You can't just keep going and going and going. Like, video games are a very special thing that they can. Like, but do we need to get mad when one or two can't? I mean, like you said, Tam, The Last Remnant, that's one that's discontinued. 99
on Steam.
But on Steam, I know, but 99.9% of games that were on Steam are still there and can be downloaded. And you bought it, so you still can download it. So I mean, there's a lot of yelling out there, but oh my gosh, like the people that go crazy over it and then drop $1 million on something else.
The Last Remnant thing's more complex because they
Okay, we don't need
discontinued.
to go into Last Remnant. I know we're talking
The,
Sony here.
the, and the attitude has also been, and this is why I think Sony is shooting themselves in the foot, is that if consoles are going to be digital only, then what's the point of having a console? I'm just going to get
Mhm.
a PC.
Mhm.
And you already think that when they're the same price as a PC anyway. So
Yeah.
raising
Mm,
costs
Yeah,
of
I
the
mean,
consoles make it harder to get one anyway.
yeah,
Yeah.
the rumors going around is that the next PlayStation console is going to be about $1,000.
It's like all of a
The price
sudden
of
the
the
Steam
5, I'm
box,
not surprised.
Yeah.
all of a sudden the Steam box seems mighty lucrative.
Oh,
Not to me.
the computer I bought to replace, the issues I had with my previous one, about $1,500, just under $1,500, and it's has better equipment than probably the PlayStation 6 is going to have at this point. So yeah, no, you're getting to the point where consoles, not counting the price hikes because of other things, are kind of mute points.
Hmm.
Yeah, listen, we all got
Based off-
smartphones, and everybody's got the apps that are on all the different smartphones.
Don't Diablo for us, man, or Diablo
All right,
Immortal
so
us. Don't
And
Diablo Immortal us.
and
think
let
it's
me
time.
be clear. I do buy digital games. I bought Pokopia digitally because I wanted it to be accessible on my Switch at all times without having to mess with the cart. I bought last year, not Innocent Life, Fantasy Life, because I wanted to be able to bring it around on my Steam Deck. But that's the thing. I had the choice on whether or not I wanted to go physical or digital. And I think removing the choice for people is just counterproductive.
Hey, and you know what? That's capitalism. Hopefully, it bites them in the butt.
I
I mean, at
hope
this
it
point,
does.
that's what we can all hope. All right, we
Please
have
bite them.
so many news articles on here, and we have as many editorials as we have news articles. So we got a lot of content to get through.
Yeah.
Well, 2 weeks of stuff. So
Well, there's
It's
news
just
article one.
it's just an important issue that a lot
It
of
is.
us are very passionate about. Should that be our question of the week? Weigh in your passion?
I,
Weigh in digitally
Since-
about how you feel about this.
No, we can only take letters for this question.
Oh, and
Get pause
I didn't
address.
even
You have to send it to pause address.
I didn't even mention the other bit about that is that the PS3 and Vita stores are closing.
Yeah, that was supposed to happen
I
3
thought
years
they
ago.
closed when they
They-
first announced it 5 years ago.
No,
Exactly.
because
You know,
people got mad.
people got mad. Now they're like, no. Now we really mean it. People are less
I'm
mad.
very glad they got the extra 80 sales of Spider-Man on PS3.
They might as well have closed them because they made it such a pain in the ass to buy stuff on them that you wouldn't want to do it anyway.
Exactly. There you go. Yeah, they're like, okay, we won't close them now, but we're going to make it so that you wish they were.
Yeah. Bancho Tactics Lionheart announced. This is a tactical RPG following delinquent high school students that's planned to release on consoles later this year.
that's actually a sequel. I don't know if it's
Maybe.
a direct sequel or not, but it is a sequel.
Yeah,
It's in
wasn't
the
there a
same world
PlayStation?
anyway.
Wasn't there a
It is not
PSP game called?
clear. It's released for P and Switch in 2024. So there are.
I think it's also on Steam too. I could be wrong about that though.
Yes,
It's
it released for
just-
PC and
Oh,
PC
okay.
in 2023.
Yeah.
So if you played the first one, guess what? There's another one
Looks kind of fun. It's kind of goofy.
Mm.
Reminds
with
me
a
of
face like that
Disgaea.
on the front. It should be.
There you go. I'm just gonna blaze through these. Stop me if there's anything you guys have played or want to talk about. We've got open world survival crafting RPG Wild Wild Eden announced. This is coming to Steam Early Access later this year. And yeah, supposed to come out in spring 2027 when survival crafting with monster raising elements. Looks kind of neat. I guess it's gone for the Pal World crowd.
Pal World's going after the Pal World crowd right now with its.
Yeah. I mean, survival crafting. There's so many: Valheim, Vampire, Wild Eden, the Pal World knockoff.
Oh, there's Pal World knockoffs.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many of them, and just the zombie ones, and I'm done with them. I'm just done with the news on those.
We've got Code Vein 2 Mask of Idris expansion announced. This is a DLC expansion for Code Vein 2, exploring an alternate world made up of fragments across time and space.
Speaking of games that came out with more of a whimper than I would have anticipated, I've heard like nothing about Code Vein 2 since it came out.
What I have heard is that it's Code Vein 1 with a little more polish, but lacking in other aspects that they could have improved on. That is what I've heard.
Mhm.
Let's see what else we've got here. Oh, Monster Hunter Outlander's third beta announced. This is a mobile title, and the beta is going to start on August 7th, with applications on the game's official site. The applications are open until July 24th, and it's basically just Monster Hunter but mobile.
Yep.
Thought we already had that.
We've had a couple of
They've
mobile
had
Monster.
Yeah, I mean, they do it from time to time. They have their Pokemon Go clone.
I do appreciate that you have to have. I don't know how good the models are, but it's iOS. You need like an iPhone XR model or above, an Android Snapdragon 845 processor or above. So we're starting to get. You need to upgrade your phones to play games. So yeah,
So there's that. We've got Chronoscript The Endless End. It has revealed its character designer and composers. So who's the character designer? Mari Shimazaki is the character designer. Who've they worked on?
Bayonetta and Akami.
Yeah, and then the music is being composed by Yasunori Mitsuda, known for Xenoblade, Another Eden, Sea of Stars, and more. This is this is part of the Legend of Wright series, and this is the game where you're going through a book.
Same developer, different series to my knowledge. Doesn't
Yeah.
mean that's accurate, but I really like the visual style that they have for the actual game of Chronoscript here. So it's going to be interesting when it comes out.
Yeah, I think they
picture of
showed it.
Masuda a photo, AI, or some like in-game engine picture of him?
I couldn't
That is an
tell.
interesting. That is an interesting image. Sorry, that's what I was focused on.
Yep.
I think they showed this during a state of play a while back. It was a really neat looking game. But anyway,
I saw it at least 4 times in the trailer showcases in summer, so I couldn't tell you where it came from.
we've got Another Eden getting a physical release in 2027 for Nintendo Switch and Switch 2. This is coming out on September 17th, and it is a remake, basically reworked version of Another Eden, The Cat Beyond Time and Space, which is a mobile game.
Well, I don't know if that is or it should be was a mobile game. Let me double check.
I think it's still
It is-
available.
It is. I still have it, and I've played it recently, so
Okay,
it's
okay.
still is.
But this
Yeah,
is going to be an
another-
offline version.
Yeah, I can't wait to.
Octopath Traveler 0, essentially.
Yep. Hey, I'm glad more of those are getting that.
Yeah,
Final Fantasy Resonance.
Yep, coming up later this year.
because I want to get this because I tried to play the mobile game and the mobile game was fun. It's just I didn't have time to play it. So there you go. I plan on buying this physically too. But anyway, Cthulhu Mythos Adventures is getting console versions in the West. Did anybody play this? Cthulhu Mythos? It sounds familiar.
They've likely come up and been talked about because they're a somewhat long-running Japanese series, but I don't know how many of them were released. Or am I Never mind, I'm misquoting, misremembering here because the first one's on Steam here from 2022.
Okay. So yeah, they were originally Steam games based off of visual novel / tabletop style RPGs. Now they're coming for PS4 and PS5 and Switch. So there you go.
My biggest question, because it comes from Gotcha Gotcha Games, is if they make enough of these, are we going to get a visual novel maker like RPG Maker?
That would be kind of neat. I'm sure budding artists would love playing around with a visual novel maker like me.
I'm still waiting on Access to give us any words about the Criminal Girls game that they said they were bringing over that just disappeared off the face of the earth. But that's just me.
Criminal Girls was put in jail.
Apropos.
Nintendo is discontinuing the Switch and the original Switch in Europe and re-releasing the Switch 2 with some model revisions to coincide with European battery regulations, which I had to look this up because I was curious about it. So Europe has mandated that by February 2027, portable batteries in consumer goods must be designed so end users can easily remove them and replace them, usually using commercially available tools, with some other environmental stuff thrown in there. But that was kind of the big thing that I got from this.
Yep.
And God, I wish the US would have these regulations because I hate the idea of my system's being bricked because I can't change out the battery.
100%. Europe does what US can't because we got too
you
many
don't
lobbyists.
miss the days of having a PSP where you look at it for the first time in 6 months and it's about to explode.
Yeah.
Well,
I always loved my Android phones. I went with Android over iPhone for years because I could replace my battery.
And now that is no longer the case, I think.
Nope. No, I haven't been able to do that since probably in about 8 years, if not longer.
So I just thought that was interesting.
Good job, Europe.
So that's that. Your favorite game?
I'm just going to giggle in the background the
Yeah.
entire time you talk about this one.
Rogue Trader is getting a Switch 2 version and an update in DLC for free. Apologize for the less than stellar launch of the Switch 2 version.
Oh no, Owlcat released something that's buggy on day one. How could have ever expected that? It's the first time they apologized for it, though.
No. They also apologized for their launcher too.
Yeah, but no one wants to remember that except for you, Tim. So
that was only 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, no one wants to remember that.
Yeah, because it was that bad. It was so bad. They launched their own launcher for their games for PC, and they completely shut it down in under a day because it didn't work. It's so bad and so good of a news story. I love it.
And sad news for any Final Fantasy fan, Ever Crisis is being shut down in October.
Okay,
go ahead.
I have been seeing ads for this everywhere now that they've after they announced it was shutting down. I'm now seeing ads everywhere for being like, oh yeah, the other Final Fantasy VII mobile game, the one with the Turks, what was it called? Before Crisis, is now in Ever Crisis. It's like you're putting Before Crisis in, even though you just announced Ever Crisis is going to be shutting down.
Yeah. And that was
they're finishing all the content before it shuts down.
Yeah, capitalize on the notoriety.
And Before Crisis was the content I was interested in because we never got that game in the US, and this was supposed to be kind of a Final Fantasy VII Greatest Hits mobile game that I bailed on pretty quick because once again it had too many currencies.
Well, good for this. Every time a Square Enix mobile game shuts down, a dozen angels get their wings. So props to them.
I can only hope it would make me happy if they made an offline version of this.
Now there you go. That's what we need to be doing.
I'm not gonna hold my breath.
Well, actually, they said in their recent IR report that they're looking to continue that trend.
Yeah.
I mean, it cuts down on development goal when you already have the entire game laid out in front of you.
Just alter it slightly, use the same models, and that boom.
Yeah, I mean, the art department gets a break. Talk about costs going down.
Well,
it's sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say one of the things with Final Fantasy Resonance though is they're adding a true world map to it though.
Yes, but it's better than starting from scratch.
True,
make it a brand new game.
True.
What I was gonna bitch about was it's almost like making a game that's just a one-time experience is more lucrative in the long run than a stupid gotcha that is gonna burn out and burn up quick.
I think it's more like we've already burned through all the money that we did on that gotcha. We burned through everybody's money, so now let's get that money again.
True.
Or all the people that were never going to play this one anyway. We've already got the first group's money. Now let's get everybody else's money.
Pretty much.
Yep. The whales have gone extinct. Time to go out for the dolphins.
No, the whales have moved on to different gotcha.
That's
true. All they do.
They've not gone extinct. their crisis has ended. What about Brigadine?
It has a demo coming to consoles and has a limited edition through NIS that has been revealed.
Shake all of you saying how amazing this game is going to be. Or at least I certainly hope so. I love this franchise. I'm so sad that it can't.
I didn't like the one that came out a couple of years ago,
Yeah.
but I'm told that one was kind of mid, and this one is actually good.
See, I haven't played. I didn't get a chance to play the demo of this one. It was on PC, and my laptop is probably about $200 right now if someone wanted to buy it. So it's very not able to play current stuff. The second game felt like it was trying to recapture the first one, but took out all the things that made the first one charming, in my opinion. So it's still a decent game, but maybe not as deep as we would have liked. The third one has a lot of people working on it that have worked on Fire Emblem games, though. So you're basically getting a Fire Emblem presentation combined with Brigadine that hopefully we still all love. So I'm very excited to see how it turns out.
Yeah, looks cool. I might want to check out the demo just to see how it plays. But should I say? I mean, it's your standard NIS collector's edition. It's got soundtrack, art book, acrylic stands, that kind of stuff.
Huzzah!
Vargas the Riven Realms receives final planned content update.
You want to try that name again?
Vagris. Sorry, just dyslexia.
No, I understood when you said it. I was like, I know why she said it because
it looks like Vargas.
It does look like Vargas. Yeah, no, I was like, that's why I was like, want to reread that? Because, yeah.
Vagris.
Vagris, maybe Vagris, like vagrant.
Yeah. So it's coming out with the final chapter of the Expedition storyline, and the game is now what the developer calls the definitive edition. Is this a mobile game, or is it just?
It's a Steam tactical RPG. I've looked into it a couple of times. We have content, our news come out for this like every couple of months for those 5 years, because since I started doing I try to play as many demos as I can for the news aspect. This game never has a demo. So I keep looking at it and going, this would actually be kind of cool to play, but I guess I can't play it this time either.
Okay. It just people complain about games being unfinished, and then they say that it is now complete. It's like on the one hand, one sort of appreciates having evergreen content, but on the other hand, I don't know if I would be kind of annoyed with something like that.
I could be incorrect, but I treat the news of this and like how they're coming out with new expansions similarly to something like the Bloodstained stuff that came from the Kickstarter. It's like, oh, now it's complete, but it was just like a roguelike mode they came out with 4 years after it was promised type thing. So like the game was complete in 2021. They're just adding more content and dragging it out, going like, we have extra cool stuff. Now we're done making stuff.
And see, once I finished Bloodstained, I never went back to it because I didn't know they were making new content. I don't know. Just my thoughts.
Yeah.
And then finally, I need to check this out because I've got this game pre-ordered. Disgaea Mayhem has a demo that's available. Lets players access the first 3 stages with dozens of enemies and a boss fight.
Yeah. I typically give 30 minutes for each demo. I beat all 3 of them in less than 15 minutes. So I'm like, okay, I don't really need to keep playing. It's still fun. What surprised me, because other than the information that, like, if all you'd heard was Disgaea Mayhem, it's an action RPG, not turn-based like the rest of the franchise, is that it's very much has some Muso in it. And I wasn't expecting it to be Muso.
Well, based on the screenshot I have up from our news article, oh yeah, that's a Muso.
Yeah.
I am so excited.
It is also very fancy.
2 of my favorite things mashed together, Muso and Disgaea.
And you're walloping prinnies in this, the prinnies and the cats. So.
Oh yeah, it has cat girls, doesn't it?
No, these are the cat monster ones.
Right.
Yeah, the Nekomata is one of the bosses in the demo. So just
the cat girl too. Nice. Yeah, there's the little cat monsters with like the fur balls.
Yeah.
Yarn balls that they play with. That's what the picture is showing right there that I have pulled up. But the Nekomata is being in it too? Yes.
My one worry that I had, which again, this is like a 10-minute demo overall, is one of the stages had like platforming where you kind of like jumping from a platform to another. And if you fell off, you're just low enough where you couldn't jump back on. So you had to find an area to jump back onto one of the like to continue. And that platforming to jump was definitely uh, not that great. It was janky. So hopefully you
Huh.
don't have too much platforming you have to do. But I mean, you'd expect that from a Muso too. Like, have you ever played a Muso where jumping was done well?
Never.
Exactly.
But
So,
most
Not even in
Musas,
9.
most Musas just are kind of just one big roller coaster.
yep, as that fits this to a T.
But yes, I can't wait.
I'd
Hmm.
totally play this.
What did I pre? I think I pre-ordered this for PS5 because I wanted it. I wanted kind of the better performance.
Hmm.
But
Uh,
anyway, that
Not
was all.
sure.
Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say one more quick thing. I typically, when I play a console demo, especially I played it on PS5, I end up streaming it and I factor in any like of I don't have the greatest connection. It'll sometimes tell me your connection bad. Every other game I've ever played has said connection bad multiple times. This, like everything loaded pretty good and only gave me one we can't load this properly prompt and it only took 2 seconds. So it should run smoothly. I would hope on every console when people get to it. So
Yep, I pre-ordered it on PS5.
hmm.
I wasn't sure how bad it was gonna chug on either of the Switches. I don't know. I hope I don't regret that decision. It's like I want to play this so much. I want to play it in bed, but oh well. Oh, that was all the news. Now we've got our new release dates. So just actually you played this first one, Ryan.
Yeah,
So
I will
Ledger.
admit that Ledgerbound has and Annihilated, which comes up a little bit later on. I kind of cheated and just copied some of my notes from the last time I played these games. In that Ledgerbound is follows the old Fire Emblem waves, thinking to make sure you maximize your strengths, but is based off of very entertaining characters, sexual innuendo, HR policies inside a library. So the humor is just very entertaining. Characters are very exciting, and like there's going to be a lot of depth to this. And there's definitely a few people on our staff and a few people that will be listening to this that will very much enjoy a tactical RPG set around a library and a librarian.
So she is not actually a librarian. She is an insurance adjuster.
There, I skipped over that aspect.
Yeah,
Yes,
so
a
that
librarian like a battle adjuster that speaks very much like librarians would. So
yeah, she's an insurance adjuster who has to go through battles to see if they have to pay out insurance premiums for dead adventurers. One of my friends played it, and I caught her stream while she played it. So that's how I know the premise. So Omega Supercore announced that Ledgerbound has been pushed back by around a month. The developer issued an appropriate corporate apology for the tactical RPG's delay. Uh, Bokosuka Wars 2 PC release announced. Pygmy Studio revealed that Bokosuka Wars 2 is coming to PC later this year. The game is a strategy simulation RPG based on the original 1983 Bokosuka Wars titles.
Oh wow.
I've only played one 1983 RPG. That's Wizardry.
This is some old school looking thing here.
Yeah, this looks like ZX Spectrum kind of stuff. That's crazy.
Yeah. Frosthaven fully launching in October. Arc Games and Snapshot Games announced that Frosthaven will exit early access in October. The full PC release will allow players to go through the entirety of the tabletop game's story campaign. And we have a trailer for that. Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion Remastered arriving on Switch 2 in August. Bethesda revealed a Nintendo Switch 2 date for the Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion Remastered. The game will arrive on the system in August, including motion and mouse control support. So, if you haven't heard of Oblivion by now,
Oh, also
Your time to jump in.
interesting tidbit. The Switch 2 release isn't going to be a key card. It's going to have the game on the cart.
yeah, but that is sort of an interesting thing. But I'm kind of glad that Bethesda is still being allowed to do stuff like that, even though they
Hmm.
are owned by Microsoft. So because
And
they
it's probably something that they signed a couple of years ago anyway. So you got to continue what has been stated.
Uh, Dungeon Antiquia coming to consoles this month. Amata Games is bringing Shiromofu Factory's dungeon crawling RPG Dungeon Antiquia to consoles. The game, inspired by classic 1980s and 1990s titles, will arrive on the new platforms at the end of the month.
I was
And
trying to figure out if this was a Kimco award or not.
Oh
no,
no, that's coming up.
Okay.
We got one. We
Dungeon
got one.
Antiqua is another one of the Final Fantasy mixed with wizardry type games. I played
Uh,
and honestly enjoyed Crescent Tap more than this one. This is a bit more heavy-handed on the NES era with limited spell usage. You have multiple traps to deal with, and even at times, some of the like early goblins can be tough. You have to explore floors, run away when you get in danger, collect gold to buy more equipment. The Steam page says there's auto-generated maps, but in the demo, everything was very laid out and felt like you're just dungeon crawling without any kind of reward. Felt empty, so it kind of felt empty digging through. But at the same time, old school entertaining games like that with good pixel graphics are very easily at home on a Switch. So, as Switch version or Steam Deck written all over it.
I don't know why people stick with Vancian magic. I really don't. Uh, that's the name of the magic system, by the way, with spell slots. It's called.
oh, it's because it's D&D.
Well, it was actually named after the person who came up with it. I don't know
Ah,
his name offhand, but the overarching terminology is Vancian magic. Anyways, Mammon King switched to release set for October. UUUM and Litmus revealed that Mammon King is getting a dedicated Nintendo Switch 2 version. The Switch 2 version of the monster raising RPG is set to launch in October. Looks monster raising with card battles and
Inspired by
board game.
Monster Rancher, which doesn't come up nearly as much as I would like to see. So,
It
I
also
loved
looks like
Monster Rancher back in the day.
it also looks sort of like roguish here with this map on our screenshots. Onimusha Way of the Sword release brought forwards 3 weeks. Capcom announced a new release date for Onimusha Way of the Sword. The action RPG will release 3 weeks earlier than previously planned in early September, basically trying to avoid GTA 6.
at this
There you
point,
go.
it's trying to avoid every other RPG that exists.
No, it's trying to avoid GTA 6 because GTA 6 is September. That's pretty much the
Now,
reason why.
GTA 6 is November, but close.
Oh, I thought it
I
was
thought it was
September.
September.
Did they move it
Oh
up
no,
too? Unless something was announced recently that they moved up GTA 6. The original release date was November 19th.
it
Oh,
is still
yeah,
November 19th.
it
Yep,
is.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was going to
I
say
thought
that. It's done. They're ready to sell it. They need money. Good job,
so.
Capcom.
There's something in September
Yeah,
that is
There's
everything's
always
releasing in
something.
September.
There's always something. You can never miss
true.
everything, and it, you know,
All the games.
all the games. What
There are
about
17
Dogtown?
RPGs alone,
Dalek,
not including non-RPG stuff
yeah,
in September.
Dalek fully launching in August. Red Saw Games and Logoi, I'm going to destroy that one. Games announced a full release date for Dalek after a little over a year in early access. Version 1.0 of the farming sim will arrive in early August. I think you and I saw this on. Oh yeah, I remember this one from one of the indie expos we covered, Downdar.
Yep.
I was like, this looks really cute.
It was
So
a bit more platforming than I expected from a farming sim. So it's one of the reasons it stood out to me.
yeah, it's like
Why does this?
platform.
Oh, there's a monster game that has the platforming, but with the turn-based monster battles.
Monster Sanctuary.
That's it. That's what this kind of
Yeah.
reminds me of. Lots of stuff, but there's lots of platforming to do to get to the stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Eh.
But it looks cute too. I like her little
Mhm.
design. So, Back to the Dawn coming to PS5 in October. Clouded Leopard Entertainment and Spiral Up revealed a PS5 release date for Metal Head Games' Back to the Dawn. The prison escape RPG will launch on the console this October.
So this one here is been the story behind it, like or the premise of it, sorry, has been intriguing me for a couple of years now, like since before the PC version released. you have on one end, mayor's corrupt and says a nearby river has been polluted by a company. But since the nephew is on the take, there's nothing that can really be done. One of the characters is an investigative journalist, Thomas the Fox, who dug a little too deeply. And of one of the first big like in the demo, big choices you can do is either be bought and join the mayor's staff, or you say you can't be bought, and then they plant evidence in your trunk and you get sent into the prison. So I'm curious if it like because they make a point of mentioning on the Steam page how many different story endings there are. And speaking of what I was earlier with detective games and point and click, like everything you click on is like you will remember that, you will remember this, and it kind of is just anthropomorphic animal characters in Prison Break, the video game. And I'm like, this sounds amazing.
It definitely looks interesting. A real throwback here: the Sword of Hope 2 available on Nintendo Switch Online.
Oh, that was a
Kemco alert! Kemco alert!
Another RPG is available through Nintendo Switch Online. Kemco's Game Boy dungeon crawler, The Sword of Hope 2, is now available to members. I mean, it may have been Kemco, but Sword of Hope 2 is not not.
That's what they based their other 500 games on. It's the OG.
I was gonna say, I thought
this
Kemco
is a quite long game
games.
too. I was looking at like how long to beat this one. This is over a 20-hour game, although that I read somewhere like it's noticeably longer than its predecessor due to prolonged repetitive battles and the need for significant character grinding.
I'm just surprised the Kemco game got on Nintendo Switch Online. Like, who'd they have to bribe for that? Or did they just forget about it one day? Nintendo was like, oh, I guess this is here now.
I mean, Sword of Hope was on the other service, the 3DS service.
Was it the 3DS? Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm not that surprised.
Rhapsody, a musical adventure, getting PS5, Switch 2 release. Hamster Corporation is giving Rhapsody, a musical adventure, a PS5 and Switch 2 release under its console archive label. The musical RPG arrives on the platforms this week.
Wasn't this one of your favorite games?
It is one of my favorite games. I'm trying to figure out why it's being published by Hamster Corporation.
And one of the things, now I could be crazy and I just don't remember them being the same, but I swear the DS version of Rhapsody and the PlayStation version of Rhapsody are two different games. So I wonder what...
They are and they aren't.
I played the DS version back in 08.
Yeah, so the difference is that the PlayStation version has a tactical combat system, whereas the DS version does not. The DS version is a pure turn-based.
Mm-hmm.
That's really the biggest difference. Otherwise, they're pretty much the same game. I have beaten both.
I wonder if this will be the tactical or a turn-based one.
Yeah. They also did some minor tweakings of it. So, but yeah, this is it's Rhapsody. I may pick it up for the fourth time.
I want to play through these at some point, partly because they've always looked cute to me, but also so that we can do a backtrack.
The first one you and Platty will love because it's a 10-hour game.
Oh, I just pulled that up too. You say that. It typically takes 9.5 to 12 hours. I'm like, yes, I can do that.
I beat it in like 9 hours and 56 minutes the last time I played it, which was on stream. So it's a short game.
Plus, isn't it technically a prequel to Disgaea?
No.
Or am I thinking La Pucelle?
No. La Pucelle is an alternate dimension to Disgaea.
Okay.
Because she is an overlord, because she becomes a... spoilers for La Pucelle and Disgaea, people. Yeah, Prié, and this is one of the things they added in the La Pucelle Ragnarok, was the evil route where she actually becomes an overlord, is the overlord from another dimension that is throwing batons at everybody.
I thought that whole universe was supposed to be all connected. No,
it's multiple universes that are all connected. That's Disgaea. That's Disgaea 4. Yeah, no, basically that's the whole concept of this overarching Disgaea thing, is all the worlds are connected on a multiverse.
Yeah, you're
Like
right, because they established that in Makai.
they established that in Disgaea 1 because of again the alternate overlord that you can pick up as a bonus character that is throwing batons is Prie. In fact, they even joke about it, and I forget if it's Disgaea 3 or Disgaea 4, where you can get both of them in the party together, and they're looking at each other like, what? Like before being Overlord and after being Overlord. And they look at each other like, what? Anyways, Mortal Shell 2 gets August date. PlayStack and Cold Symmetry announced a release date for Mortal Shell 2. The action RPG will release on PC and consoles in mid-August. And
Good
we have
time frame for it to not get overswamped by the September releases and be able to carve its own niche as a hopefully better Souls-like than the original, which was still pretty good in its own right from what I've heard.
Fading Echo releasing this month. New Tales and Materia. I apologize to any devs who are listening and I mispronounce your titles. Revealed that Fading Echo is arriving on PC later this month. The action adventure RPG revolves around manipulating water in both puzzle solving and combat.
That sounds absolutely horrible.
It,
I just think of water puzzles in games.
Third-person
Never goes
action
well.
game looks colorful. I just was worried it wouldn't run on my PC, so that's why I didn't play a demo of this one.
Why is that water green or red? Or is that just lava?
There's lava, there's green something there, there's blue, not water here.
Yeah, for a water
going.
puzzle. Yeah, there's stuff wrong in that world. Maybe you got to fix it all.
Hey, it's a fantasy game. They're allowed making with water whatever color they want, right?
Verho, Curse of Faces, spreading to consoles end of this month. Kasur Games and Cobra Teku Games announced that Verho, Curse of Faces, is coming to consoles at the end of this month. The action RPG is inspired by From Software's Kingsfield series and released for PC later this year. I know Leo Grimm's been excited for this one.
He already played through the PC version.
Oh,
He's good stuff, but it's Kingsfield, so
yeah,
that's a given.
he does like his Kingsfield.
Mm-hmm.
Annihilated release pushed back. Flashlight Games and Death Kamui have delayed the release of dark story-rich RPG Annihilated, previously planned to launch this month. The game will now arrive towards the end of the year.
I was very enchanted, personally speaking, with the way they created their characters, because basically you go down into the middle of a dungeon as a like
I remember this
nobody.
From Indie Live Expo.
Yeah,
this is the one where you're the hero and your whole party gets wiped out, and you can bring only one of your party members back to life, but they all have quirks.
Yes. The hero's gone crazy, the warrior is a doll now, and the mage can't use magic, and the priest has basically turned into someone who no longer likes life, almost like a necromancer in personality.
None of us did new game releases, did we?
I actually reached out to we still have new early access, but I did reach out to Nubs and asked him to be like, plug in the new releases for us. But new early access, Nimbit Frontier coming to Steam early access in August. Mega Splut I like that name, Mega Splut, revealed that creature collecting life sim RPG Nimbit Frontier will arrive on Steam early access in August. The title sees players helping to converse the creatures rather than sending them into battle.
Yeah, what was interesting to me is, well, first it's top down, going through combat and puzzles like it's a top down 2D Zelda like room, so you're just connected rooms that way. Combat was simple enough, nothing too fancy, but the Nimbits are genetic creatures, so you basically, they're almost like blobs as you fight them, like slimes or something. But when you try to capture them, you get their genetic like fragment, and then you go and you basically raise these Nimbits back at town. And one of the things they have you do in the demos, there's this baby one inside a hatchery. Like, you you feed it milk. It's just like, oh, it's cute and harmless. The roguelike aspects will probably bug some people, but for those that just enjoy, like the main disciplines you get are even conservation, discovery, and encounters. So only one of them is actually combat based. The other two are about learning more about Nimbits or being able to collect more information to conserve them all.
Next up is Archetype Blue coming to early access later this year. Developer Codename Bomb is working on deck building roguelite Archetype Blue. The game is planned to release on Steam early access later this year and has a demo currently available. And Platty, you typed in that you played this demo.
I did. I tried to do the Dalendar 30, but it was very slow going at the beginning. So I had to do the Dalendar 42-minute try instead. So this game it's based on Arthurian, or at least the naming is based on Arthurian. There's these ladies of the lake that call people to be knights, and they all take on names like Galahad and whatever. And it starts with a story about the archetypes gather together in houses, and the houses elect people to be the key holders or the bearers. And then those people, ironically, actually just usually die. They they become targets and get killed quite often. So, good for them. But you play as Mary, who is not a knight, but really wants to be. Apparently, her dad was the one who took on the name of Lancelot. He's been dead, and his ghost comes and tells her, whoa, whatever you do, do not become that knight. And the ladies of the lake are like, meh, what the hell? You want to be a knight? You're not really the knight, but if you want to walk around and try to do it and call yourself Lancelot, we're not going to stop you. So, all this is taking place in shadows and everything, and then all of a sudden, you're just sitting in a car stuck in traffic, and you've got a driver who says, "Oh, so I guess you're Lancelot now," and I'm like, "What the heck?" So it's set more in modern times because you're in a car. Turns out, though, that much like our world, bad knights have taken over and are telling everybody that the good knights are the bad people. So. Rings true with most of corporate life and the world today. And at one point, you just the guy is talking to you, and I couldn't even think of the reason. I'm like, you just got out because it was bad traffic. Managed to talk somebody out of their motorcycle, completely dressed as a knight from the 1500s, and that person just gave you their motorcycle, and you sped off. I think there's something that must be missing before the demo throws you into actually doing the battle here, because all of a sudden you're on a not a grid, but more of a branching pathway, kind of like a lot of roguelike deck builders.
We've got pictures, so I got it pulled up.
So you're on a branching pathway, and you can pick to do battles or stop at a store along the way. So you're the hero. You're Mary, Lancelot, and you have a couple people with you. You have a magic user, you have a healer, you have a damage dealer, and when battles start, they take their turns right away. The damage dealer hits somebody, the magic user casts a spell, the healer automatically heals who's ever got the lowest hit points. But then then you finally get dealt your deck, and some of your decks cost I think they call it the anima is their term for their mana, how many actions you can take. Some of the spells don't actually cost those. They are, or not spells, I should say, the cards don't. They're attack ones that you can kind of chain together for your hero. So if you have 3 different attack ones that don't cost anything to play, you can click and drag them and do them back to back to back. Your hero will fight. All the other cards have a cost to them, and obviously you can spend up to your cost before you throw away the rest. And it's turn-based battles, but your actions are determined by the cards. When you win the battle, you get some items. Usually you get a new card for your deck, and you move on to the next place in the maze. I got through kind of a mid-boss that it even tells you that you're going to be able to go through one whole area, but between the story and the whole area, like I said, after about 45 minutes, I was done. At one point, I even got to pick which boss I went against. I was like, oh, the bosses are even branching. I can play the guy with the range damage or the other one. Your people do not get healed in between, and you actually have to spend food points to go to different areas. Like, oh, if you want to enter this battle, you got to eat two of your few food to go in okay. Or you could go in hungry. And I think I never did that, but I think you would lose HP or something like that with that. It seemed there was a cost to not eating.
The way you're describing this is reminding me a lot of Darkest Dungeon.
Oh, no, I mean, I was thinking when I was playing it, I was getting the Slay the Spire up the thing, but it's party-based combat, so I'm like, there's your roguelike deck builder plus your party-based battles. I mean, it was all kind of fun. It looked really nice. The music was, whoo, my God, get your heart beating the whole time. It was pumping. Electric music. The wide variety of sprites, I kept coming across new things all the way through it. I wished the battles were going a little faster because it was like, oh, okay, all right. I dragged that card over. Let's go. And this is the one that Dalindar. How big was this download demo?
That was going to be my question when you were done saying, is there anything that made it 15 gigabytes for the demo?
I cannot in any way believe that this thing was 15 gigabytes. It took like even 15 minutes on my computer to download this sucker and get it going. I don't know what the heck they put in there. The sprites were nice. The sprites had a few different animations, but at the end of the day, it was a pixelated that you could count the pixels on the sprite. It may have been closer to 1,000 than 100, but I mean, it was not breaking any records for graphical fidelity. And the music, well, it was cool. Like, man, a couple MP3s. It was no more than really an hour-long demo. I don't know what the heck was going on with this.
Yeah, the Dragon Quest VII Reimagined demo that I did for prior RPG cast was like 4 gigabytes. So like 3 Dragon Quests in hard drive space for this one.
It was yeah. I've got no clue what that amount of space was for. It seemed nice. This would be something that I could definitely see myself picking up on consoles, just because I don't sit at the computer to play games. But it was pretty neat.
Cool. All right. So next, Prelude Dark Pain Early Access release set for later this month. Fire Squid Games and Quickfire Games announced that Prelude Dark Pain will release on Steam Early Access later this month. The Dark Fantasy Tactical RPG is expected to fully release in around a year. And we have a trailer for that. So, Sorcery releasing on Steam Early Access in August. Temple Door Games is releasing Sorcery on Steam Early Access next month. The game is an action roguelite where players pick and wield a variety of swords. I'm not playing the demos because I don't have that stuff muted, so it would just bleed over all of us. It looks like action RPG.
Looks kind of fun.
I got the name of the company mixed up with I think it's Rogue Cellar Games, the one that did Rogue Legacy. I was like, oh, there's just multiple title developers.
Yeah. So as far as new game releases, so we've been gone 2 weeks, so we only have one new game coming out this week that Chris gratefully plugged in when I reached out and be like, hey, can you do the new releases for us? And that is Cold Step Begins. That is a board game strategy deck game. It had some previous entries that have released in the US, the first one being on, I want to say PS2. It is coming out for Windows, Nintendo Switch, and Nintendo Switch 2.
Supposedly they're very fun, but also very dense.
Yes.
I played the one on 360 called Concept Saga. I basically thought it was very dense Magic the Gathering combined with Monopoly.
I can see the stuff that we've missed since it's been a few weeks. Let's see. Yeah, so Citizen Sleeper 2 for Switch 2, Citizen Sleeper for Switch 2, the DLC for Grand Blue Fantasy Relink, Endless Ragnarok, which we spoke about earlier. Veritas Tales, Witch of the Dark Castle to Windows. And as we
That's going to be a lot of fun, by the way.
The Rhapsody Musical Adventure version, Sword Art Online Echoes of Aincrad, the latest in the Sword Art series, and Digimon Story Time Stranger coming to some other console. And yeah, we've got nothing else this week. Now there could be some stuff we're missing that is like really indie that no one's let us know about. That does happen. I've been seeing that, but if
Definitely.
we don't know, we don't know, right?
A very brief bring up just for Kelley. Have you heard of Veritas Tales, Witch of the Dark Castle?
No, but something
It's
tells
a
me there's cats in it.
no. This is actually another thing that I know you enjoy. It's a choose your own adventure visual novel RPG created by a veteran from Vanillaware.
Oh,
So a lot of Vanillaware adjacent visuals inside of a visual novel choose your own adventure RPG. So
that could be interesting.
All right. So let's see. Next, we have our editorials. Do we want to try and just blow through these or?
Yeah,
Yes, please.
Okay. So we have the end of June, part 3 of the Taking Pride in RPGs for our in the middle, outside, or in between. Even in queer spaces, there can be a lot of hang-ups over being one thing or the other, with those at the edges being ignored or erased. It's time for some recognition, as much or as little as one can love. It's all still important. So this was our month-long editorial series for celebrating Pride Month. So see what our various staff members had to say about some characters who fall into the more outside of the outside edges of the LGBT community that don't see as much screen time as maybe some of the more prominent segments of it. So I'm trying to phrase that really politely and not insult people.
Is
I'm
it more of the
sorry.
plus
I think
than
it's
the
more of the plus.
Yep. I was trying to think like how yeah.
Yeah. So
All right.
exploring new worlds, RP Gamer's favorite settings, part 1. One of the great things about being an RP gamer is being transported to all kinds of wondrous worlds and settings. We asked our volunteer team to pick out and share some of their favorites. So another group article where a number of staffers got together and said some of their favorite like worlds and settings that they've seen in games. Let's see. Next, we have a review on Tales of Seku by Alex Fuller. Let's see. Ace Entertainment's Tales of Seku adds to the cozy life sim RPG offerings available for RP gamers. While perhaps lacking anything to make it fully stand out, it nonetheless offers a charming and overall enjoyable experience. Alex gave it a 3.5 out of 5. Positives were interesting yokai themed take on the traditional cozy setting, charming characters, effective progression systems. Because where cycle starts to tire towards the end, combat is lacking, and not currently much reason to stick around after finishing the game.
that's quite a long farming sim too, or life sim, because it's 40 to 60 hours. You said
No, that's.
for the main story, not 180 hours of playing Animal Crossing.
I mean, 40 to 6. It takes a long time to do the first Harvest Moon if you like really go at it. So Stardust Wish of Witch review. Stardust Wish of Witch is a charming and well presented SRPG. However, a few stumbling blocks make it difficult to give a full thumbs up. This was reviewed by Ezra Kennel. Gave it a 2.5 out of 5. Under 20 hours. Pros, some interesting combat ideas, heartwarming relationship between protagonists, and amazing pixel art and animation. Negatives, UI makes everything unnecessarily confusing, no mission variety, and story strays into unnecessary world building too frequently. So next we have Smash It Wild review. Smash It Wild is a unique and highly enjoyable blend of sports simulation title and a tactical RPG. Okay. Although hampered somewhat by a short runtime and some UI errors, it still packs in more than enough to be continuously fun and engaging. This was reviewed by Cameron Pattinson. They gave it a 3.5 out of 5, saying it's an under 20-hour game. The game pros were the gameplay is superb, the sound and visuals are excellent. Different teams bring variety. Negatives were no replayability. late game frustration with some unfair losses due to stats and some UI errors on Switch.
The one of the subtitle aspects, which makes one of the negatives interesting to me, is it's a tactical volleyball roguelike. So it's interesting to hear a roguelike not have replayability. So I wonder how they manage that.
Yeah. So Echo, next we have Echo review of Echo Generation 2. Echo Generation 2 bravely breaks the mold of its turn-based predecessor. While this may leave some players wanting, it mostly sticks the landing with a new combat system and some lofty narrative ambitions. This was reviewed by Pascal Tatkaya, and he gave it a 3.0 out of 5, under 20 hours time. Pros were like the last game, the combination of visual styles and elements look great. Ambitious four-pronged storytelling approach, plenty of nuance baked into the card-based combat system, negatives that muddles up any attempt to truly master it. Finale feels like a rushed way to tie up the game quickly and drops off the 80s nostalgia train in favor of expanding the existing lore. Next, we have an editorial on how to beat a boss in Stellar Blade, the first one. The recent announcement of Stellar Blade Blood Rain is likely to draw a new set of players to the original Stellar Blade. One particular boss in the game will be a stumbling block for many players. So here is a guide on how to defeat them. This was written by Ertaza Hashmi. If I mispronounce names, I apologize. So going into some aspects on how to prep yourself to beat this particular boss. I don't know where in the game that particular boss is because I've not gotten that far, but it's cool that we have something like that as a new type of editorial. We have a interview on Disgaea Mayhem. Disgaea Mayhem is set to put an action RPG spin on the Disgaea franchise later this month. RPGamer was given the opportunity to put some questions to Nippon Ichi Software about the game and its translation of the series to a new subgenre. Alex Fuller presented the questions to Nippon Ichi Software, which they got back to us. You can check out the interview there on Disgaea Mayhem, the Disgaea Muso we discussed earlier. So we have two things for the next game, which is Cliff Off in Providence's Shadow. We have an interview, and we also have a anime, because Anime Expo was going on last weekend, an impression. So Arc System Works was available at Anime Expo 2026 to give an early look at Cliff Off in Providence's Shadow. RPGamer was able to sit down with director and game designer Satoshi Hiroye, hopefully I pronounced that right, to ask some questions about the upcoming tactical timeline RPG. Along with that, they had a demo available, so we were able to get impression, and those were written by Jordan McLean. So congrats, Jordan, on being able to get some time to do that. I'd love to go to Anime Expo once. So expensive though, because it's in LA. We have a preview of Brigadine Abyss. The Brigadine's strategy RPG series returns once more with Brigadine Abyss. Ahead of the game's August release, RPGamer was able to get a demonstration of one of the game's new event battles. Honestly, so we've got some images of this here, and I'm going to say this is looking a little more like the original game than the second game based on the designs of these characters. So anyways, you can check out the preview there. Let's see. And we have the first article for our JRPG July thread for 2026 with the introductions of the various staff who are in it. So a whole bunch of staffers. Our stream team has just one general write-up to catch us all on our Twitch channel, of course, which includes myself. But so hopefully a whole bunch of games are being played this month. We had a lot of staffers in this, so no offense to any of our staffers, I'm not going to go through reading every name and game that you all are playing. But good luck.
Are any of our staffers here contributing?
I am. I'm playing Final Fantasy 3. I talked about that earlier.
Yep.
Meh.
And then again, I'm part of the stream team, so we instead of doing individual write-ups, we do just one blurb just outlining because the year where we each stream team member did it out write up, the article became insanely long. And then last, we have a video roundup on July 1st. With the summer heat comes the powerfully packed punch of video reviews from RPGamer. The five-fingered onslaught this time includes a review of Escape from Ever After, an adventure corner of Resident Evil Requiem, and a trio of retro reviews for Ys 3, Wanderers of Ys, Shadowrun, and Final Fantasy Mystic Quest. So you can check that on our YouTube channel, and or the individual videos on the article page. And that's all the editorials.
Woohoo.
Yeah, I think two weeks really should be the limit for when we skip things. I'm glad we decided to do one this week just in case.
So what are we going to be playing this week?
Well, I'll be finishing up my review game and playing some Final Fantasy 3.
Yeah, Endless Ragnarok here.
We've got the new patch for Honkai Star Rail this week, so I'll have a new story in that. I am going to be picking up now that I have my my nice shiny white computer. I am going to be streaming Dynasty Warriors Origins for my JRPG July. I'm going to pick that back up because I really like that, and I think it's something I can just at least mindlessly play during JRPG July. And then I don't know what else I'll play.
I am going to be continuing Trails Through Daybreak.
And for those who missed it, our question of the week is sort of your take on the latest bit of news, going from the Aged R games from our previous one to the whole thing with the digital only, the cost of future consoles, other news about the sector, kind of make it a grab bag this week because there's been a lot of news with the industry this week. And not
we didn't
all
even talk about Koei Tecmo expanding their workforce. They've gone from 2,500 to 3,000 on their way to 5,000. Good job, Koei Tecmo.
Well, and that makes up for Microsoft firing almost 4,000 this week.
Yeah,
they had too many people. If they have 4,000 people working on video games, they got too many people working on video games.
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, it was from all those mergers that they did a few years back. Now we're seeing the consequences of them basically exploding all that money out everywhere, and now they are like, we don't have the money. Well, yeah, because you spend it all buying all these studios.
Exactly.
So yeah, I mean, just a whole bunch of news, and Kelley, do you think that's a wrap? Because you're the host.
I do believe that is a wrap. That being said, thank you to Dale North for our intro music. I'm sure we will be back in a week to talk more about our latest video game news. Us Backtrack folk will also be podcasting on Wednesday, not live, to talk about the OG personas, the pre-social link personas. So, well, some say the from r/Megaton, the real personas, because they have a hate boner for anything after 3. I like them all. I've never played a bad. Well, I guess that first one was kind of jank, but for the most part, I've never played a bad Persona game. So we're going to be talking about them.
Hooray!
But that being said, thank you, Tam, for arranging the stream.
Just glad I was able to get my computer back to do it.
And thank you, Dalendar, for hanging out with us.
Anytime.
And thank you, Platty, for future editing.
No problem.
And thank you to all the listeners for hanging out with us this Saturday morning. We'll be back in a week. Hope you have a good rest of your week, and we shall catch you later.
Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
See ya.